about the show? This was your idea with George?
When we do it live, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, George and I thought of this, back in year one, and it came out of the fact that we do these big oneers, on the show, where it's a one camera, one shot that lasts for 4 minutes long. And so it feels like live television because there's so much pressure not to mess up.
When you've been doing a show for 4 years, 4 seasons, things start to get stale. Even shows that are good for the actors, for the producers, for the writers, for everything. And although doing it live can seem like a gimmick to some, for us it's a huge challenge.
When I overheard them talking, I went, you know what, guys? This is sort of not a pipe dream. This show really is set up that you could do a live show if you ever wanted to.
Because of my background in the theater, I felt like, people have been doing this live for thousands of years, not with cameras trailing them always, but of course they did in the early days of television. And would it be so impossible?
I remember Carol sort of calling me and say, I have a script, I've come up with this idea, I think we can execute this.
You can do the whole thing as if it were through a documentary camera. That would explain why it wasn't on film and why the world looked different.
And it was only after, I think, Carol Flynn came up with the premise of a documentary film crew being in the emergency room that the idea of doing it live actually matched a storyline that was plausible enough to allow us to do it.
Once somebody inside of the writing group was actually crazy enough to go along with these two guys, then it was contagious, like the measles or something.
And from then on, we had moved into a territory, and it was just, hang on to your hats. It was going 100 miles an hour from that moment.
Well, I think the network and John Wells at first weren't completely on board because they already had a hit show. It wasn't like, oh, this will really help us get ratings. I mean, it was sort of, we're there, why do something that could only jeopardize us to fall?
It's such a huge change in what we normally do on a day-to-day basis here that the idea of, one, just taking the risk of doing something live, and two, completely upsetting our regular routine of how we make the show was very scary.
And I think at the beginning of the 4th season, we had all of these really talented actors. We'd had a lot of success. And the idea of let's not rest on our laurels, let's keep challenging ourselves, that's pretty hard to resist, that impulse.
There was various degrees, I believe, of people thinking this is exciting and we are absolutely insane.
I was so excited about it because I really loved the show, and the idea of doing live television was just thrilling. It was something new, no one had done it.
My reaction was, what? You mean like really like live?
I was in Texas and I get this phone call saying we're going live in September, and I still didn't believe it. And now we're 2 weeks away, so I'm petrified.
Juliana was justifiably very skeptical. Was this the right thing for us to do? Are we just going to make fools out of ourselves?
How's it feel, Doctor?
When you bring somebody back, it's the bomb.
It's the actors who really put it on the line in the scariest way because it's their faces, it's their bodies, it's them with the lines, and ultimately it's them running with it.
It kind of quickly went from how can we do this to this is so cool to this is so exciting, and then back to this is so terrifying.
All right, guys, let's try it with camera one time.
I was so naive. If I had actually had a little bit more intelligence, I would have been frightened to death. Out of default, I sort of was nominated to direct it because I was probably the only one who had directed an ER, who had directed multi-camera shows, and who had actually done a live show of television once.
Okay, now you pan over here.
And so then it was really trying to figure out bringing in some people who really knew about live television.
People who had not really done drama, because people who produced live television were people who had done the Olympics or done awards shows.
There's two main things that we were fighting, and that was the video and the audio, basically as simple as that. The hardest part was the audio, and we needed to have the best to do it, and that's certainly Ed.
We had to design and build a switcher. If it didn't switch with the camera cut, going from a very busy scene to a quiet examining room,
You should lay off the cheapos for a few days, and I think you're going to feel fine.
it just wouldn't be real. It wouldn't sound real.
It's like stunning that he's able to mix this show as it's working live.
I need a camera back.
Keep shooting, Stuart.
360.
We needed a lot of cameramen. Live shows use a lot of cameramen. But I knew that the key to this was Dave Comides, that if I could get the Steadicam operator from ER, then at least I knew, okay, we have a palette that everybody else can sort of work off of. So then you were sort of brought in at that point.
Being a Steadicam operator in AR helped me in the live show about as much as being able to fly would help someone fish.
Figure rehearsal or you want a camera rehearsal? Finger rehearsal. Finger rehearsal. Okay.
ER was a top-rated show at the time, so it was the best of episodic drama, putting it together with the best of live TV, and the result is out of the ballpark.
Let's try it like that. Let's see it in rehearsal.
The way we rehearsed it was a 45-minute play, that it was continuous. There was no, okay, stop everybody now, move to your next position. You have to figure out during that play how to get from A to B.
What do you got, Carter?
It's a kid who got hurt earlier.
And I wrote it with our set in mind, almost like a Monopoly board or something, like a game board.
You know, traditionally we have an 8-day shooting schedule and we work 12 hours a day for 8 days and shoot an 82-page script in that time. This was a completely different process where we rehearsed for 7 days.
You can actually sort of throw that to her a little bit. How's it feel, Doctor?
And then rolled cameras only on the 8th day.
Yeah, I kind of threw that in because I'm trying to throw something different in each time, that even if it doesn't work, I don't want this to get stale, you know what I mean?
Totally,
so
totally. Absolutely.
That's why.
Absolutely. So what might you be doing tonight?
Janet Jackson had not yet performed in the Super Bowl. There was no delay. We had no delay, and truthfully, we had no backup. So there was, it was really without a net.
It's kind of like watching the Indy 500. You don't watch to see them go around the track. Everybody's going to watch to see who crashes and burns.
There's 18 cameras, and the part that I don't understand is, you know, most of ER is about running that gurney down the hallway, and we're going to have 18 cables from all these cameras on, so I don't understand how any of it's going to work.
Here's where the problem on the cord is.
And then we were worried now there's going to be cables and people are going to trip on the cables. And there's a gentleman who's 80 years old who's an actor who's got to hold his breath for a series of time because he's supposed to be dead in the show, and there's a baby that's got to cry.
I think it'll be amazing if we pull this off.
Everybody was absolutely intent about not being the one that screwed up.
We will make mistakes. The question is never how you handle the mistakes. It'll be how you actually deal with the mistakes when we do them. So that's the fun of it.
My biggest fear is that I have a problem with bursting out into fits of giggles, and then you lose it. You can't get back on track no matter what. And when you're doing a show, it's easy to go, okay, cut, cut, cut. I just need a minute, and try and compose yourself. But when it's live, I think I'll be too scared to get the giggles, hopefully. I'm praying.
Now, as soon as they go, you go. Don, you have to go as soon as you see the two of them leave.
Part of it was, if we're going to do it, give us the biggest obstacles to climb, because then it'll be exciting. And also, it'll be, you know, the tension of, oh, if we fall, we really will fall big.
Every day there was a little bit more stress. Every day our hearts were pounding a little bit harder.
Are we really here today?
Yes, we are.
We can't have another week? What's wrong with this? We want another week.
Marty?
Give me another week.
By that night, it was almost more than any of us could take.
It was amazing just to have all of these huge trucks that were going to be transmitting the show. And there was people were just all hanging around, and suddenly you see Steven Spielberg walking past, and there was like a party going on outside while this energy was kind of humming inside.
I just want to say one thing very quickly. It's not magic that we got here. It was really hard work. People have put it together. We've done the show. The show is good. It's there. Have fun tonight. Yeah. Go for it. We're going to be right behind you. We're going to make you shine. Know that we're doing that in the truck. We're here for you. I love you all. Thanks so much.